Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today I'm going to explain the horror movie called Induced. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The movie opens with a couple arriving at a remote cabin in the woods. It is their last weekend before Carmen gives birth to their first child, and it is also where she will naturally give birth to their child. She went in first, and her husband went after her. They then sat down on the couch and talked about whether they were ready to be parents. The husband then assures her that they will do a good job raising the child. Later that night, Carmen was being helped by her husband to exercise, and she went up to take a bath while her husband made dinner for her. That evening, they prepared dinner together and got affectionate the whole night. They then invited James's old friend, Philip, and his wife, Giselle, for dinner and talked about the pregnancy and the natural birth, with a midwife to help them. They found the idea pretty strange, but they explained that it was pretty normal. They then mentioned that they had initially picked a midwife to help them, but she bailed at the last minute, so they had to get a replacement. The couple then invited them to be at her birth and named them as their son's godparents, which made them overjoyed. Giselle then asked about the baby's name and if they had already fixed the patches in their marriage, and Carmen answered that she had already forgiven him. Later that night, Carmen wakes up from a nightmare in which she was getting stabbed in the belly. James then comforts her before she goes down to get some ice cream. James's side woman texted him, but he told her not to contact him anymore. The next morning, as they were having breakfast, she noticed James arguing with someone on the phone outside, so she confronted him. He then told her that it was Philip, but she believed that he was lying, so he demanded to see his phone, and it was in fact Philip. After their breakfast, James goes up to take a shower when somebody texts his phone. Carmen then entered the bathroom and snooped around his phone. After his bath, he guarantees his wife that nothing will ever come between them again. Later in the day, they received a package from the midwife and wondered how she got the address. They opened it up and it was a crib, so they proceeded to put it together. Later that night, as they were playing cards on the table, James heard a noise from outside, and when he went out, he saw a red box with a paper fox inside, which he proceeded to hide from his wife when she peeked out to check on him. They sat on the couch when Carmen started to feel something. She then craved ice cream, but they ran out, so James went out to get some. After 2 hours, James hadn't returned yet, and Carmen started to feel some minor contractions. The next day, Monica, the midwife, arrived to find Carmen experiencing minor contractions. She then informs Carmen that James called her to come early, but Carmen is confused as to how James reached her when she can't even reach his phone. She then holds up a photo of her and James and accidentally drops it. Monica then started to act strange, starting when she already knew that they were having a boy and made up some lame excuse. When Carmen asked her to prepare a sandwich and a drink, she put some white powder in her sandwich and some drops of clear liquid in her drink before serving them to her. Carmen commended her lemonade, and Monica claimed that it was her specialty. Carmen then made a trip to the bathroom while Monica was left alone in the living room. After she was done peeing, she sat on the bed, and Monica made her unconscious with chloroform on a piece of cloth. She then proceeded to inject something into her belly. The next morning, the actual midwife arrives, and Monica abducts her. Carmen was tied up on her bed when Monica came to offer her food. She then removed the ball of cloth from her mouth. She then asserted that Carmen's child is her child. She then force feeds her and aggressively grabs her face, stuffing her mouth with the food she brought for her. She then lets her go when she demanded that she pee. She then brought her to the dining room and served Carmen cake. Carmen then demanded answers from Monica, and she later revealed that she was about to have her first child with James, but had a miscarriage when James threw her down the stairs. Carmen then decided to play along and agree that it was her baby. Monica then proceeded to inject something into her belly. They then come indie for cake when Carmen, who is still playing along, unties her so she can celebrate with her properly. She unties her, and when she asks Monica to put her ear against her belly, she slams her face on the table and runs up to her room with the knife in hand. Carmen was about to give birth while Monica was cleaning up her face in front of the mirror. Giselle and Philip later arrived at the cabin, where Giselle went in first and Philip stayed behind to call James. When Giselle entered, Monica presented herself as the midwife. On the other hand, Philip saw James unconscious by the campfire, but he wasn't able to remember anything. When Giselle heard Carmen screaming, she hit Monica on the head and rescued her. but Monica came in and stabbed Giselle. James then came into the room where Carmen was about to give birth and was able to knock Monica out. She was caught by the police, and their son was born. The movie ends with Carmen waking up from a nightmare that Monica was holding her baby and getting spam calls from Giselle.